my name is Anthony Seabud, and today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on my project, the Express.ts API Template. This is a project that I've been working on for about 8 or 9 years now, and it contains all of the basic functionality that every SaaS solution is going to need. That's things like login, sign up, password reset, multi-factor authentication, groups, and roles. This is a real-world tested project. It's handled over $50 million of live transactions, and I've implemented this at well over 10 live startups. To get started with the project, simply git clone the repository, and then cd into it, and then open that with cursor. Once you've got the project open, we'll open the README again. The first command uses sed and find to rename all the containers. So instead of prefixing them with Express API, we're going to use ACB test API 8-26. And then we're going to need a SSL certificate for local SSL. Then we're going to need to make a private and public RSA key for JWT signing and verification. Then we're going to need to copy the env.example to .env because the default env file will work fine. And then we need to do an npm install and a docker compose up. Excellent. So we can see that the API container is now listening on port 80. So the next command we're going to need to run is npm run exec db refresh. This is going to build the database and seed it with example data. Finally, we can run this curl command, which will attempt to generate an access token, which it has, using the login endpoint. We can see in Table Plus that the tables have been created and all the example data has been added. So now we can open in the project root. We can open the open API spec.yml file, and we can see all of the endpoint roots here. Before we get started with that, I just need to do one step. Because we're using a locally generated SSL certificate, obviously that's not going to be verified by Safari. So we need to go to https localhost /API v1 _ health check. And as expected, we get the connection is not private warning. We're going to go show details, visit this web page. This is telling Safari that we are happy to trust this locally signed JWT. This is important for later. Now, if we go back to the Swagger editor and we click authorize, we can now provide with our access token, authorize. So next, I'm going to go to the get user endpoint. This should return the current user assigned to that JWT token. And as you can see, it's returned the user, first name user, last name 1. And this is exactly as expected as we see in the database here. So now if we go to the post endpoint, we should be able to update that user. So I'm going to set my name as Anthony, my last name as Bud, and I'll update my bio, execute, and you can see in the response our first name, last name, and bio have all been updated. If we go back to the database, we can see that's also reflected here in the database. So this is just a small example of some of the routes here. We also have the ability to update your password, enable multi-factor authentication. You also have the idea to view the groups that you have access to and invite users to those groups and then remove the users from those groups. So this project basically now contains all of the functionality that you're going to need to build your SaaS solution without requiring you to reinvent the wheel every time. This is very well tested code and it's been deployed in many successful startups. So this is definitely going to be production ready code which you can trust to use for the long term. You can find this project at github.com/Anthony Budd.